Welcome to the Western Cape Teachers Forum, a platform where we educate, empower, and excel. We educate through dialogue to empower ourselves through knowledge and or with knowledge to excel from our respective spaces and places. Now, it is indeed a very cold and wet winter's evening from the Western Cape, and wherever you're watching from, please let us know. We want you to join and hop along onto the conversation. We want to say hi. We want to make your acquaintance. And as usual, let's share the stream as far and wide as you possibly can. There might be somebody sitting in traffic or somebody sitting at work still, because teachers' work does not end at 3:30. That want to watch this, and so let's share this on our Facebook and YouTube channels wherever you're watching from, so that that can be watched on demand. Now, today is episode 2 of our series called "From the Principal's Desk," where we go around to randomly selected schools to speak to principals to share their experiences as school leaders. And perhaps you want your school principal or your school to be considered. So let us know, and who knows, we may just feature your school next. But tonight, we're taking the conversation to the southern suburbs of Cape Town, to Westlake Primary School. And we're going to be speaking to Principal Tracy Peterson Brown, who was born and raised in Cape Town. She matriculated in 2008, completed a BA degree in 2013. She also holds a BA honors in educational leadership and management, and she graduated summa cum laude. So this is an intelligent one tonight. And she also, throughout her studies, received the Dean's Merit Award. And I'm told that she was appointed as principal of Westlake Primary School in October 2021. But before we bring her on screen, let's just take a sneak peek into the life of Westlake Primary School, the school that Tracy Peterson Brown manages and leads. Well, there we have it. Tracy Peterson Brown, welcome to the Western Cape Teachers Forum. How are you doing?
I'm well. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, the pleasure is all ours. Listen, you've got a beautiful school, and I think, wow, you've done some beautiful work at your school. So, at the privilege and the honor is ours to host you tonight. But before we get into the conversation and getting to know who Tracy Peterson Brown is, her experience as a school leader, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. Né? Now, these questions are icebreakers, and I'm hoping that I'm not catching you off guard. The first question, Tracy, is if you could replace all the grass in the world with something else, what would that be?
Oh my goodness. Grass. Well, my favorite thing is chocolate, so...
Okay. We can do chocolate. Okay. If you were to be arrested for no reason and your face was all over the media, what would your friends and family assume you did?
Probably a traffic fine that I didn't pay.
And you know what? I heard this morning on the radio that they actually jail you now for heavy traffic offenders, depending on the number of fines or tickets that you've received. So that's a real one. Lastly, Tracy, if you could change what falls from the sky every time that it rains, what would that be and why?
Money. I mean, it's simple. If every time it rains, money came from the sky, I mean, will be amazing.
And I mean, in the wake of all the interest rate hikes, I mean, who wouldn't say no to more money in your pocket, right?
Exactly.
Well, anyways, Tracy, as I said, welcome and thank you very much for joining us tonight. And I'm excited to getting to know you as a school leader a little bit more. We serve
Yeah.
in the same circuit, but I think we haven't really had a conversation about what your perspective and experience as a leader is like. And if I were to judge. You are relatively young as a principal, and that in itself might come with a certain set of let me call it experiences. But before we get into that, who is Tracy Peterson Brown, and why, out of all the professions, did you become a teacher?
Yeah, no, first, thank you so much again for having me. Yeah, I'm the principal of Westlake Primary School. I've only been in the post for about a year. I am extremely ambitious and I'm quite passionate about social justice. Um, why I became a teacher at a young age, we all use our imagination. And a lot of the time, I used to play with my dolls and I was always the teacher. And growing up, I was always passionate about people, and I knew somehow I wanted to make a difference. And I knew that I'm able to do that through education. So when I was even at university, I used to, mentor first year students and help them adapt to university life socially and
Yeah,
academically. I worked at the NPO. I used to go there every single week in Mitchell's Plain that dealt with women and children um, and even when I did my first year practical and I was in the classroom, that's when I felt most alive. And
yeah.
so it was a full circle moment for me, and I knew that this was my purpose. This is what I'm passionate about, and if I really want to make a change, it is through education. And so I chose teaching.
Wow. Just within the context of social justice, and I mean, social justice is the view that everybody deserves equal
Yeah,
economic, political, and social
yeah,
rights and opportunity. Do you think we have a good story to tell?
yes, I do.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Listen, uh, as a young principal, as a young leader of managing a staff of, I think you said earlier on, you're a P3 school, so that's about what 20 odd people under your command, and 20 to 30 persons. Does that pose a challenge to you, or is it that does it come with a set of opportunities? What's your experience like being in this role but relatively young?
It's been a positive experience for me. In most of my interactions with different people and stakeholders, my
Yeah,
age always comes up. Um,
yeah,
I'm I'm not sure what people kind of expect when you say that they're going to see the school principal, but it's not usually what I look like. So, principals have a certain look or persona, and that's what people kind of expect. And usually when they get to see that this is the school principal, they are quite surprised. And
yeah,
so this has been quite exciting for me because people are intrigued, they are interested in my story, and they want to see what am I able to accomplish and what is my vision. Even the parents have been very receptive and supportive. One of our parents said in our first meeting when I was appointed, this shows that their kids' dreams can come true. It gives children kind of inspiration as well. It doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, how old you are, you can achieve anything. And
yeah,
so yeah, people would want to work with me, and the Westlake community has been absolutely amazing. With the Westlake school, the staff, I mean, we have
yeah.
excellent staff, and they've been quite supportive. And our school is the beacon of hope in the community, and it's completely full circle for me.
Sure, and I mean, apart from the parents, the children, the teachers that you have to
Yeah.
work with, is also, like you rightfully said, the community. And would you say that the community in the Westlake area have received you well as the leader of the school?
Yes. No.
Yeah, yeah,
It has been. I've worked quite hard into building relationship with parents. You know, it's like our post-COVID time. You know, during
Yeah.
COVID, we kind of limited interaction. We parents couldn't just come to the school at the moment. But I kind of want to the message across that we want to build relationships, and it's only through relationships that through change can happen. So I'm quite intentional about
Yeah.
building relationships with everybody, and
Yeah.
especially the parents and the wider school community.
No, for sure. I mean, you might have heard earlier or in the recent days about that tragic accident that occurred in
Yeah.
Mitchell's Plain, and one of our children sadly succumbed in that particular accident. But the point I want to make with saying that is that in a time of crisis, the community and private individuals just come
Yeah.
together as one, and they render support in any shape and form. And you know, it's so overwhelming to have seen, wow, this is
Yeah.
what we can achieve together. And so that power of partnerships is critically important for me, even as schools, you know. We can't operate in silos, man. We have to draw on
Exactly.
our partners, you know. So yeah, good on that, man. Tracy, but I'm sure there are some parts of the job that you must find rather frustrating. I remember when I was a class-based teacher, one of the things that I really despised, and I made no secret of it, is I didn't like the marking process. Yeah, that really just
Yeah.
frustrated me to the core. And then of course now in the driving seat of the institution, there are some frustrations. But what are some of the things that perhaps frustrate you? If you were to answer or complete the sentence, one of my greatest frustrations about my job is, what would that be?
You know, this is a tough one for me because I feel that, you know, we are faced with challenges every day. You know, every day there's a new challenge that you need to embark on, and things don't usually go as planned. I'm a very you know, I'm planned, I've got my plan, I've got things that are set for the day, and this job has taught me that things don't go as planned. And
Yeah,
so one of my greatest frustrations about the job is not being able to fix everything as quickly as I can. Some things, there are just no quick fixes or quick resolutions, and a lot of
yeah,
the time some things are out of our control. We want to do
yeah,
so much,
yeah,
and whatever happens in society, you know, it comes through to the school, and we
yeah,
have to deal with a lot of things, and
yeah,
it becomes such a great challenge not
yeah.
being able to solve things as swiftly as
Mm,
possible.
and Tracy, just you know, on those days where it really becomes so frustrating and you feel like, oh, I can pull my hair out of my skull.
Yeah.
What is it that Tracy Peters Brown do to just to unwind, to take things like, in my case, for example, I play a little bit of music. So I'm a part-time musician, so I play a little bit of saxophone,
Ah,
I listen to
nice.
jazz music, and so that's my sort of vent, my expression, my aha moment. Is there something that you've got that really just helps you to just cope and balance things a little bit?
Yeah, initially it was quite hard for me to relax or to even switch off.
Yeah,
But what I've learned now is, for example, my phone. Um, Sometimes I would just not be available on my phone
yeah,
because my phone has also become quite a thing of
yeah,
me constantly working. So I'm working on the go. So I've used kind of that to kind of just switch off.
yeah.
I also I try to watch things that doesn't make sense. So I don't have to think or analyze or go deep dive into anything. It's just TV shows that makes absolutely no sense. So
Yeah,
I watch nonsense, and
yeah.
that kind of helps me to relax.
No, let me tell you, I am with you on that one. There's some weird Netflix series that I'm
Yeah.
so into. So yeah, no. I can agree with you. Now, if you were to think about teacher heroes, ne, in your life, it could be a teacher that perhaps that you've received instruction from as a child, or it could be a teacher that you've worked alongside as a colleague. Who are some of the teachers? And I know it's difficult to single people out because, generally
Yeah.
speaking, our teachers are all heroes, man. But if I were to just perhaps just start the conversation, I still hold Mr. Hendrik Thuis from CPT. Oh wow, that man was an absolute gem.
Yeah.
He had a heart for the profession. He had a heart for the students, and he always took us on this oral literature expeditions, this excursions to the Northern Cape, the Southern Cape. And Maya Angelou said, people don't always remember how you make them, what you taught them, but how you make them
My
feel.
favorite
And so
person, yeah.
that's exactly what Mr. Tays did to me. So are there some teacher heroes that stands out for you?
These, like you said, there's a host of teachers that I could possibly think of. First of all Westlake primary school teachers are amazing. So I do take off they inspire me daily. Um, I think of Landy Diamond. She's an amazing teacher. She's the director of Metro East, and she's the essence of leaders creating other leaders. Um, and so, if I think about teachers that really was heroes to me, it's that the teachers where I felt most connected to, and teachers that connects most to their students. Teachers that make you feel kind of loved and heard and validated. Teachers that look at the entire child. Teachers that looked at me and didn't only see me for my maths or my English, but saw me as a person and then connected with me on an emotional level. When I think about my being a novice teacher or at school, it was about giving me a platform to discover who I was, how I wanted to express myself, and also develop me in my growth, and not kind of a structured thing, but literally just connecting with who I am and how they can possibly help me grow.
Yeah. No. And that takes a special kind of gifting to allow people to grow within this space. I remember my first principal, Mrs. Johnson. She, somehow in that first quarter, she's most often you serving on the SMT because she saw something in me. And I think that as leaders, we need to be so alert and aware about the strengths in the room. We need to draw on the individual strengths of the teachers, but you need to form relationships to really understand who the people in your room are and what are they good at, what do they need development in. And so these qualities of the great teachers that you've mentioned now, how do we as school leaders cultivate these qualities within our staff, or what conditions favor people to operate at their very best?
Yeah, we need to recognize, that teachers are different with different strengths, abilities. Like at Westlake Primary School, we have a diverse group of teachers with diverse teaching approaches, and you have to recognize individuality and individual strengths, and that's what makes the school amazing. Teachers with diverse strengths provides quality inclusive education, and when you look at developing the staff, who they are individually,
Yeah.
and work on that, that will give you what you want instead of using a blanket approach.
Yeah.
The approach that I always think about is, everybody has a gift, everybody adds value, and so you have to figure out, what is your passion, what is that person's passion, what makes that person feel most alive. It
Yeah. Yeah.
ensures that you create an environment where voices are heard, and that
Yeah.
that every human then feels seen, heard, and loved. Everybody
Yeah.
wants that kind of sense of belonging. So
Sure.
yeah.
Absolutely. And principals should teach, yes or no?
Sorry.
Principals should teach, yes or no?
Yes, that's the best part of my day. Yes.
Okay, all right, okay. Talk to me just very briefly. Why should principals not teach?
Not.
No. You're saying principals should teach, right? So I'm saying principals shouldn't teach. So you need to qualify your statement.
Principals should teach because it helps keep you connected to the kids. I know we've got like a million other things to do,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
if it's one period per
yeah.
day, I mean,
Okay,
you feel so connected.
yeah.
It's just one of the, yeah, you should teach.
Okay.
You
No,
should feel
got you, got
connected.
you. Stay connected, stay plugged into the classroom. Got you.
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to say hi to some of the people that have commented on the various platforms, and so far. Thank you very much, our faithful friends and followers who engage us. Who's this? We've got Giovanni Orange. Do you know Giovanni, Tracy? He says,
Yes, I
extremely
do.
proud of you. You inspire so many of us every single day, and you do so amazing things for your school. All right, thank you, Giovanni. I'm sure. Who's Giovanni? Is he a colleague of yours or?
No, not a colleague. He's a
Okay,
close friend. Yeah.
I'll say, okay. Well, and then we've got Llewellyn van der Ross. Hey, Llewellyn. Llewellyn, I must speak to you, because I want Llewellyn to at some point host some of these sessions. Llewellyn has got such an amazing personality. He's such an incredible school leader. He works at Tuscany Glen Primary in Blue Downs. But what an infectious personality and laughter. And I believe that this
Yeah.
man is still going to bring magic to education. He says, it brings me a great amount of joy to see women in leadership, especially young women. I'm impressed. What is your biggest challenge about being a young female in leadership? Do you want to take a bite at that one?
Yeah, no. Like I said, when I first entered the profession, as a principal, I came with big ideas. I wanted to steamroll ahead. I just wanted so many achievements. But it was challenging for me to just kind of take a step back, and sometimes the little things are big things, and I had to
Yeah,
kind of learn that in my first
yeah.
in my first year. So that was quite a challenge for me, because I'm all about results and big achievements and overachieving. So I really just had to take a step back, because sometimes the little things are the big things. So that has been one of my greatest challenges.
Okay, so this overachieving thing stems from high school, I guess. So were you that
Yes,
child that did other
yes.
children's homework for pocket money?
But basically, I'm a problem.
Okay, thank you, Llewellyn. Thank you for that comment and question and wonderful, Tracy. Sharon Lewin, hello, Auntie Sharon. So inspiring to see two young principals having this dialogue. Love this. Oh wow, yeah. I think you might know Sharon, right?
Yes, I love Sharon so much.
Yeah, no. Sharon is School Corridors founder, and what an
Yes.
amazing person, man. She also contributes so much to education, even in her retirement, or I don't know if you want to call it retirement or refinement, but she's
Yeah.
she's she's making magic, man. Thank you for joining and supporting Sharon. As always, welcoming to see you here. But, Rita is the principal at Villiersdorp Hoërskool or Secundair, I'm thinking. Woman power. I also get that most of the time that people tend to think that I'm not the principal. Yeah, that is another from a fellow colleague of ours. She's thank you for joining Benarita, and it's always welcoming to have people representing them. Was wel hier so was dit nou aan die Boland, né? Dis nou verby Woester Roberts se daai kant uit. In elk geval lekker man om vir jou te hê weer. Rafael, you are amazing. Is that for me? Thank you, Rafael. I'll take that. I'll take that because Tracy's getting all the compliments. Thank you very much. Then David Miller. My CEO of Naptos on the Western Cape says most teachers have no idea of the impact they have on children. Our country is built on the very hard work,
Yeah.
mostly unpaid overtime of our teachers. They fill the road called the extra mile. Tracy, you want to comment on that one?
Yeah, totally, teachers are the backbone of society, and we directly impact what will happen to our country. So teachers are the most important and most valued profession, actually, I think.
Yeah, no, for sure. Thank you, David, for that contribution, man. I love your support as always. Leanne Bathgate, hey, now I've got head office
Mm.
deputy directors in the house here. Deputy director employee relations. This is the person you don't want to meet under normal circumstances because she's responsible for ensuring that our naughty teachers and principals and
Yeah.
CMs and are charged and punished. But I guess there's a space for it. Leanne, all the
Yeah.
best. Thank you for your contribution to quality education for every child in school. Always a great support of the platform. Thank you, Leanne. I appreciate your contribution tonight. Theodore Peterson, you're doing great, ma'am. Keep on what you are doing. Thank you, Theodore. I don't know if Theodore is known to you.
Yeah, he is.
Okay. And then Mone Michael Press, he works at the Westville Primary in Mitchells Plain. More of these engagements are required for school communities to learn from each other. Tracy, you are an inspiration.
Oh,
And
thank
yeah,
you.
Thank you, Mona, and I think yeah, thank you so much for your contribution. We appreciate your support as well. Tracy, I've got one or two more questions before we land this plane, and I want to talk a little bit about novice teachers. Now, at some point we enter the profession as that first year teacher, and we think we know it all because we have got 4 years of teaching behind us, and we know all the theories and all of this pedagogy and almal daai. En ons ken mos nou almal die nuwe terminology in our heads. But from where you're sitting, what are the common mistakes? And maybe you can reflect on some of the mistakes you've made, but generally, novice teachers, what are the common mistakes that they make as they enter our profession?
Yeah, I mean, I can't really speak for all novice teachers. I'll take it from my perspective. When I was a novice teacher, one of the mistakes I made, for example, was not saying no. Sometimes, in leadership and management, we burn out our young teachers because every project or every program or every event, they are kind of thrown in the deep end without proper support and mentorship because
Mm,
everybody else is maybe busy or they are hungry, they're ambitious, they think they can do everything. So young people are often thrown in the deep end because you do have that mindset. You are young, you're energetic, you've got new things coming up, you take it all on, and then before you know it, you want to leave the profession because
yeah,
you just feel so overwhelmed by it. But also, as leaders, and as teachers, what support are we giving young people? And one of the mistakes I made was also I wasn't asking for help.
yeah,
um, because you want to kind of take everything on. So I would, tell young people to know what is your vision and where you see yourself, because short-term sacrifices, you attain your long-term goals. And and to immerse himself into professional development activities, workshops, those kind of just help me completely. But
yeah,
they need to know kind of their vision and if it aligns with the school and the school's values, and then go into
yeah.
the direction of that.
Do you think people see, or our young people see asking for help as a form of weakness?
Um, yeah, it depends, people in
Mm,
general. If you look at if you were a lifelong learner as an
yeah,
educator, you know that you don't know everything. And so when you walk into a room, there's always somebody that can teach you something. It doesn't matter how many
absolutely.
experience you have. And
Yeah,
so, if the school needs to kind of foster that kind of culture for asking for
yeah,
help and
yeah,
developing, and
yeah.
that is why when you see a novice teacher, you've been there, take them under your wing and mentor
Mm,
them and give them opportunities so that they are able to develop
yeah.
into whoever they want to be.
Yeah, Teresa, I'm just thinking whilst you responding there. I mean, I've taught at one, two, three, four schools in my lifetime, and not that at all four schools I've not received or I wasn't part of a formal or an official mentoring program. Now, I understand, and like you rightfully said, there's a dire need for effective mentoring programs or
Yeah.
processes at schools, especially for newbies, but more so for novice teachers. I mean, if you enter a new space, you need to be orientated to the space,
Yeah.
irrespective of your amount of your year of service. But more so if you are inexperienced. But is it perhaps an indication that our schools are really don't have capacity for effective mentoring programs, or is there just not enough political will? Why is it that some of the schools or most of the schools, or maybe I'm generalizing here, don't have effective mentoring systems in place so that these young or disenfranchised teachers don't feel, yo, I'm overwhelmed. Yo, the learning, the learner discipline. Yo, the admin. Yo, this. It can become so overwhelming that you have issues like staff absenteeism, you have apathy, you have all manner of things, and it could have been
Yeah.
arrested potentially if there was a person walking alongside, like a buddy system, if I can call it that, Why do you think we are where we are? Or did I just have, or do I have an isolated experience here?
I think, if I just look back on some experiences, it could
Mm,
be that, that other teachers also feel quite overwhelmed. And
yeah,
so it could be perhaps that they are struggling to help themselves. So they tend to not being able to help the novice teacher because they are, not adequately equipped. But I
yeah,
do feel that every school, if you have about 20, 30 staff members, you should there should be a clear mentorship
yeah.
program for all young teachers.
Yeah, no, no, no. I can't agree with you more. And before I throw the last question at you, and before we say our goodbyes, I just want to see if there's maybe one or two comments that I've missed
Yeah.
here. And yes, Trey, who says, Grace says, you have inspired me by your leadership skills, Grace de Chiwe. I'm sure, I don't know, I'm assuming Grace, you know Grace.
Yeah, she's a teacher at our school.
Oh, wow. Thank you. And
Yeah,
then
thank you.
Crystal. Hello, Crystal. Crystal is at, is it like Garlandale Primary School, I think. That's the name. Crystal, you must excuse me if I got it wrong, But thank you for joining as usual. The accuracy. Okay. Yeah, that's probably in your in response to what you've said. And then Mr. Muller says, Lundy had told me about this young lead her. Great listening to her views on some aspects of our profession. Remember to make time for yourself,
Yeah.
um, or you will burn out. You have a community's hope in your hands, holding you up in prayer as you do the work of leading. Your most important work is always ahead of you. Live each day in crescendo.
Ah,
Hey, do you want to comment on
that
that? Yes.
that's just beautiful. Thank you so much. Like, that's yeah. Thank you
You
so
see, you
much
see,
for that.
yeah, you see, David is not showing off. He always has a way
Yeah,
of.
no, he's phenomenal.
Yeah, I know, but I don't want to keep saying it because then no, but David, like, on a serious note, thank you very much. Wow, it's always lovely, refreshing to hear your thoughts on issues and to elevate our people, man. Thank you for that wonderful, wonderful comment. Okay, Tracy, now the last question to you. Why should young people or newly graduates stay in South Africa? Why shouldn't they go abroad and teach in Dubai and Abu Dhabi and Kuwait, where they can make lacquer dollars and
Yeah.
denaries and whatever it is, and come back here and buy themselves estates? Why should they stay in South Africa? What would be the motivation? Talk to us.
I advocate for young teachers to grow and explore, to be ambitious and dream big. But if you think about why have you become a teacher, why are you in this profession? And a
Yeah,
lot of the times it is for to make a difference. Yeah, because you love children, and the quality of education outcome in South Africa is dependent on the quality of teachers that we have. And so the question I would rather ask is, how do we develop and retain our teachers? What environment do we foster for retention and growth in our schools? So how are we making sure that our school is appealing and that teachers are not leaving? What is the reason that teachers are leaving? Because money is not everything. It's not the key to happiness. It will be for a short amount of time, but what is the long term plan or the long term vision? And if the school environment is a happier environment, teachers will stay. So what type of environment are we fostering in our schools?
and it starts with us. It starts, and the leader sets the tone at his or hers institution or place of work. And it's important that we come armed with the right mindset and frame of mind to our places of work, so that the others can equally follow. And so, yeah, I totally agree. Tracy, thank you very much for tonight. I wanna give you an opportunity. I'll give you one. Do you want to ask any questions to me or anybody on this on the comment thread that has joined us thus far? Is there a question that you perhaps or any additional comments you want to make at this stage before we say goodbye?
I would like to pose a question to you.
Okay.
Yeah, I know that you are as well quite newly appointed. So far, what has been your greatest joy of being the principal?
Yeah, the greatest joy. The greatest joy. I was anticipating something along the lines of what's the greatest challenge or whatever. But the
No, let's
greatest
end it
joy
on a
is
good note.
no, no, no. My greatest joy is the privilege to lead the institution. As much as you are relatively young, I'm also relatively young, and for me,
Yeah,
you said earlier in our pre discussions, you said, yeah, nah, I'm honored that you asked me, but there's a reason why. You see, and there's method in the madness, and I don't believe that these things, the fact that we are positioned where we are, is just so much sure. It's by the way, and I first my greatest joy is doing what I do because I understand that it's not everybody has the privilege to do so.
yeah,
I My greatest joy is to learn from. There are so many seasoned practitioners at the school that I lead. I mean, at the previous school where I was, my then business economics teacher of 2001 matric, he had to call me sir when I was appointed as deputy principal and acting principal, and that is a privilege in its own act. It's almost
yeah,
abnormal, but and so I find that was so special to me, and then I was appointed at this school, and yes, every context comes with its own set of unique set of challenges, and it's all part of the learning process. And I don't know where I'm going to end up, but I'm a process trustee. I'm trusting this process called
yeah.
education and growing, and so I'm just grateful for the opportunity to lead and to add my little bit of contribution to education. So I think that brings me joy. Getting up in the morning and saying, okay, I've got another shot at this. Let's see what today holds. And like you mentioned
Yeah.
earlier, you've got your planner, you've got your diary, and case in point, here's my diary in front of me. Right?
Yeah.
Tomorrow's notes are already in there if you can see it. Where's my camera? And but I also I'm realistic. I understand that number one, okay, I don't want to mention things, but the memorial logistics for tomorrow morning. It might not go according to plan. And I understand. My Napto is a PEC meeting tomorrow at 2:30, Mr. Miller, you're listening. I may or may not be there, but I've planned and I've committed to be there. But I am prepared for any eventuality. And so, yes, I'm excited about education. I really am.
Yeah.
Despite all the muck, despite all the frustrations, despite all the tragedies within the sector, I remain optimistic about education because we were called to lead in a time like this. So that brings me joy.
Yeah, truly inspiring. You're doing amazing so far. So, no, great job.
Thank you, Tracy, man. Yes, and what a wonderful conversation we had tonight. And what do you know, 38 minutes in, I thought you the time was going to fly. And so, yeah, look, I'll give you about 60 seconds to share a word of encouragement to a disenfranchised teacher sitting there, I'm done. To a school leader saying, I've had enough. I want to throw in the towel. Go. You've got 60 seconds. Inspire us.
Well, you know that it's only through education that we can change the world, and our kids, our country, it needs us. It needs strong, visionary leaders that are able to make the change. And so the entire, I can say, the backbone of the country is education, and we can change the world through education. So yeah, we have important work to do.
And indeed, it was an important person we spoke to tonight. Tracy Peterson Brown, thank you very much for joining us
Thank you.
tonight. It was an
Ah,
absolute pleasure. I'm hoping it won't be the last time that we will grace us with your presence, and I wish you everything of the best for your work that you do and continue to do at Westlake Primary School. Thank you for inspiring a nation and a community, like David said. And I'm hoping that we can form very meaningful partnerships moving forward so that we
yeah,
can grow together. I can't, but together we can. And that's the philosophy that I've already adopted a while ago to say, look, we need to build on one another's strengths. We need to there's power in partnerships. I mean, why do we redesign the wheel if we have it amongst us and within us to grow together. So thank you so much. I really appreciate your time.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
thank you
and
so
so
much to you.
no, thank you, Tracy. And so, yeah, folks, that's all we've got time for tonight. It was an amazing, amazing conversation with Westlake Primary School. Next week, however, we're speaking to Mr. Anton Europa from Ridgeville Primary School in Mitchells Plain. And he's also in our circuit, Tracy. So, and Mr. Europa's got a very interesting sense of humor. So I'm looking forward to that conversation. So thank you, colleagues. Thank you, friends. Thank you, followers of the page. We really appreciate your time and your inputs tonight. It was really appreciated. May you stay safe and warm wherever you are. And remember, make a difference in one child's life. Right? Stay safe. God bless and good night.
Good night.
Here's a little song I wrote. You might wanna sing it note for note, but don't worry. Be happy. In every life we have some trouble, but when you worry you make it double. Don't worry, just be happy.
Don't worry, I'm be happy. Don't worry, I'm be happy.